Yo, what is up guys? It is MtgGalaxy here bringing you a brand new video, and today we have day 3 of the spoiler season for Ravnica Allegiance. And before I start this video, I just want to let you know that obviously I've been in GP Oakland, so I haven't had the chance to make spoiler videos over this weekend covering all those cards. So I'm only going to cover a few cards today, like 10 or so, and they've spoiled so many more than that, so if you want to check those out, I mean, even if I am your only source of spoilers, which I know I'm not, I know for pretty much a fact that all of you else have seen spoilers so far. But if you want to check those out, go ahead and check out either Scryfall or Mythic Spoiler. Those are the two probably most reliable sources for MTG spoilers. So without further ado, let's just jump into this. Angel of Grace is 3 colorless and 2 white for a 5/4 angel with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. And you can pay 6 mana, exile it from your graveyard, and your life total becomes 10. This is a crazy powerful card, right? This card can save you from the brink of death, like when you're getting smacked for a ton of damage, you flash this guy out for 5 mana and you're totally fine for a turn. Even if you need the 10 life, you can have it chump block something and then pay all your mana the next turn to get you all the way back up to 10. This is definitely standard playable, and it'll definitely be in the sideboards of control decks for stuff like Burn, or just heavy aggressive decks that do a ton of damage to you. Ministrant of Obligation is 3 mana for a 2/1 human cleric with Afterlife 2. So normally I wouldn't talk about vanilla cards like this one, but this one gets me very excited for Orzhov Unlimited. This is easily a pack 1 pick 1 pick, and it's a 2/1 for 3 that when it dies you get 2 power in the air. That is very good. As an uncommon in limited, this is easily a first pickable. Definitely give me one of the Orzhov staples in limited. Unbreakable Formation is 2 colorless and a white for an instant. Creature you control gain indestructible until end of turn, and it has Addenda. If you cast a spell during your main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures, and they gain vigilance until end of turn. See, this is what I like to see out of an addendum card. It's defense if you need it by giving all your creatures indestructible if they're going to board wipe or something. But also, if you need it, it's offensive, as in you get to Alpha Strike, get 1 more power for each creature you have on the board, and they're indestructible so they don't die, and they have vigilance so you can block with them when your opponent cracks back. This is the kind of addendum card I like to see. Not necessarily for control decks, but for any deck who likes this insane kind of flexibility as in a defensive spell from your spells that your opponents cast that can kill your stuff, but that can also attack your opponent and try to get them to lethal. This is a very good design, and I really like this card. Mesmerizing Benthir, I think, is 3 colorless and 2 blue, so 5 mana for a 4/5 octopus. And when it enters the battlefield, create 2/0/2 blue illusion creature tokens with, whenever this creature blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. And it has hexproof as long as you control an illusion. I like this card. This is a very good roadblock for aggro decks for control, as in you get 2 blockers that tap down their biggest things as soon as they attack, and you have a 4/5 wall that is hexproof for the most part. It can't be lava coiled, can't be lightning striked, it can be fight with fired, but again, pretty much anything can be fight with fired. I really like this card for control decks against the aggro matchup. Yo, Domri Chaosbringer is 2 colorless and 1 Gruul, so 4 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker Domri. You can +1 to add a red or green mana. If that mana is spent on a creature spell, it gains Riot. You can -3 to look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. And you can -8 for his ultimate, which is you can emblem with, at the beginning of each end step, create a 4/4 red and green beast creature token with trample. This Domri seems really good. Coming in at 5 loyalty for 4 mana and then plussing up to 6 is insane. That is a lot of loyalty for someone to deal with on turn 4 if you're on the play, and I think it's going to be very tough to kill. It will take like 1 or 2 turns to get through this, which will save you a bunch of damage in the long run. For abilities, I like the +1. Being able to accelerate you up to turn 6 off of turn 4, and then giving a big fatty you have most likely haste, but a 1/1 counter as well, if that needs to be, seems very powerful. I like this +1, and for the -3, I really like being able to get a little card selection. It's -3 drawing you at least 1 creature, hopefully if you built your deck right, from the top 4 cards of your library seems really good. -8, I don't think you'll be using that much because it does take a minute to get there, and it's not as good as some of the other Planeswalker ults we've seen, as in just getting 1/4 for each turn. But I do think it's viable if you can try to get it, like if you have a really good lockdown on the board, get this thing to 9 loyalty, then -8, and then keep just plussing it up if your opponent can't pressure it. That seems very, very good, getting 4/4s, even though I do not expect that to actually happen. I think it is a very good scenario. I like this Dominate Planeswalker, and I do think it'll see play on Standard. Frilled Mystic is 2 green and 2 blue for a 3/2 Elf Lizard Wizard, wow, with Flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may counter target spell. Well, they reprinted Mystic Snake in a Standard. This thing is going to be a bitch until it rotates, and you know it. I think it is pretty good having a Elf Lizard Wizard. Elf Lizard. I think this is insane, having a counterspell on a creature that can be tutored up with Prime Speaker Vanifier if necessary. I think this is a very good card. It'll definitely see some kind of Standard play, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be in any control decks because none of them run green, but I do think it's a very powerful spell that we'll see play in some Simic decks this Standard. Fucking Elf Lizard Wizard. That's just so fun to say. Alright. Oh boy, Kaya's Wrath is 2 white and 2 black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you control that were destroyed this way. So, a very mana-intensive 4-mana Wrath in Standard that kind of compensates you for destroying your own creatures. I love 4-mana Wraths. This is definitely going to be a budget option in EDH for Wrath of God, even though I don't know if budget mana bases can support this, but I very, very much like this card. I like how it compensates you for creatures that you destroy being as such of the hard mana cost, being XXYY. And I just really like this card. I think they'll definitely see play in Standard for some Esper control lists. It might see play in Modern for some budget lists that can support the intense color requirement for the mana base. And it'll definitely see play in EDH for any budget reasons or just for, I don't know, like Afterlife, I don't know, nonsense that happens in EDH. I like this card and it's going to go places for sure. Nikia of the Old Ways is 5 mana for a 5/5 legendary creature Centaur Druid. I do not know if I pronounced that name right, but whatever. You cannot cast non-creature spells. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that that land produced. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm actually very excited for this card for Commander. Being able to have 5 mana Zendikar Resurgence in your command zone that you can accelerate up to 12 mana in the next turn, even though you cannot cast non-creature spells, this card seems pretty powerful for Commander. Being able to accelerate from turn 5 all the way to turn 12 over the next turn seems very, very good. Obviously, the downside is very significant in the case of Commander, and some people will try to run it in their 99 if they have a sack outlet on board in case they need to cast non-creature spells to get rid of the board, but this does seem very, very powerful. Having a mana doubler in your command zone is always very good, and in Commander, always having to be able to have access to that mana doubler seems absolutely powerful to me. Rhythm of the Wild is 1 colorless and 1 Gruul, so 3 mana for an enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. So, I want to talk about a combo. We have this, any persist creature, and any sack outlet. So like Murderous Redcap, for example. That seems pretty cool in Modern. A persist-based combo that uses Riots to give out a +1/+1 counter, so it negates that. And the Murderous Redcap being able to just churn through people's life totals. That seems like a pretty cool in any Jund or, what's it called? Or a Gruul, or, yeah, just Gruul combo deck. It seems pretty powerful. I like this card. This card seems very good and limited, giving all of your creatures haste if you want, or giving all of your creatures +1/+1 counter if you want. It reminds me a lot of Fires of Yavimaya, giving all of your creatures haste, and even though you cannot catch them in, even though you cannot cash it in for a +2/+2 bonus, it gives you the advantage of not having them being able to be countered, which is nice. Sphinx of New Prov is 2 white and 2 blue for a 4/3 Sphinx with flying and vigilance. Spells your opponents cast that target Sphinx of a New Prov costs 2 more to cast. I just want to talk about this because I love the XXYY cycle in Guilds of Ravnica, and this card seems very good as well. Definitely a pack 1 pick 1 playable for any Azorius deck. Alright, I just really want to talk about this one because of Scryfall's translation. It is the Boros split card, and they have translated it to Party in the Streets and Demon in the Sheets. Party in the Streets is 2 hybrid reactors for an instant. Target creature gets +3/-3 until end of turn. And Demon in the Sheets is 6 mana for an instant. Destroy target non-basic land. Demon in the Sheets deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. I just really wanted to talk about this because of the name, let's be honest. The name Party in the Streets and Demon in the Sheets is very funny to me. I don't know why. But Party in the Streets seems very good. Being able to kill any 3 toughness creature seems fine. As well as pumping your own 4 toughness so it can deal less points of damage seems pretty good. Demon in the Sheet seems overcosted for what it does, but that's the power of flexible cards, am I right? Revival and Revenge is the Orzhov rare split card for this set. Revival is 2 hybrid Orzhov for a sorcery. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. Revenge is 6 mana for a sorcery. Double your life total. Target opponent loses half their life total rounded up. So, I think Revival is very good. Being able to reanimate some kind of... Even you can trade up, so pay 2 mana to get a 3 mana creature out of your graveyard seems pretty good. I think this even has modern potential. Bringing back your Tarmogoyf from the graveyard into a Confidant seems very, very good. Even though it can't bring back walkers like Liliana of the Veil, I do think it's very good. And can be compared to cards like a Post-Mortem Lunge, for example, or the other one from Hour of Devastation. Revenge is just too expensive for what it does, honestly. I wouldn't pay 6 mana to have someone lose half their life, even if I do double my life total. It just seems way overcosted to me. Thrash and Threat is the Gruul split card for this set. Thrash is 2 hybrid Gruul for an instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Threat is 4 mana for a sorcery. Create a 4/4 red and green beast token with trample. So, I think this is a very powerful split card. Being able to take down a walker or a creature of your opponents with Thrash ability is very, very good, especially at instant speed. And Threat is, if you don't need that, it can give you a good mid-game threat, as in a 4/4 token with trample. That seems very powerful indeed, and I think it is definitely Palcom pickable if you get the chance. Warrant and Warden is the Azorius rare split card for this set. Warrant is 2 hybrid Azorius for an instant. Put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. Warden is 5 mana for a sorcery. Create a 4/4 Sarah Angel, essentially. White and blue Sphinx token with Flying Vigilance. I like this card. Very flexible indeed. Warrant being able to tuck one of your opponent's creatures to the top of the library for only 2 mana seems very, very good. Warden being able to make a Sarah Angel token essentially also seems very, very good if you don't need the Warrant part in the early part in a control deck. I love this card. It's definitely going to see play as a 2 of, 1 of, or maybe even 3 of in standard control decks. And I love the flexibility that these new cards are giving us. I'm a huge fan. Finally, we have Wilderness Reclamation. 4 mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. And wow, this card is absolutely insane. With Nexus of Fate in the format, you can have that trigger resolve, and then at the end of your end step, after that trigger has resolved, you can cast Nexus of Fate and take another turn. Being able to completely just reset all of your lands for only 4 mana on an enchantment seems very, very powerful to me. This card seems absolutely insane, and I don't know why Wizards would print this in a format with Nexus of Fate on it. So, that's all the spoilers we got for today, folks. If you enjoyed, be sure to smack a like on and subscribe if you haven't yet. And always, this video is brought to you by you, the subscriber. Be sure to subscribe to the MtgGalaxy YouTube channel for all the most recent builds we have Ravnica, spoilers, news, and more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter and Twitch, link down below in the description.